I sure can. You froze a little bit, but I can hear you though. You
Okay,
know,
let me go upstairs. And I'll be in my little cave.
word. Good day, everybody. While she go upstairs today, Burning Bill. Those are my good friend Melinda Prescott. You know what I'm saying? The international superstar. You know what I mean? Y'all might have seen. You may have seen her on Facebook or social media in amazing photos. She's a great model, though.
Oh, thank
All
you.
jokes aside, she's a great model. She has a great aesthetic. She takes wonderful pictures. She's also a painter, an educator. Um, I don't know what level of astrologist, but I know she knows more than me. So I love to like talk to her because she like helps me get my mind right. And she's a DC native, so it's always cool because I got family in DC, so I feel connected to them when I talk to her. But
Well,
good morning.
good morning, everybody. He's done an amazing introduction. Hi, it's me, Mel for short. Um, I'm not an expert astrologist. I just know a little bit about everything. Well, not everything, but some of the things. That's all. We're trying to start off today.
I be learning from you daily, so it's like what I would ask right now, right? The first question that I think off the top of my head, and it was dope because we were speaking before this, but we kind of talked about just winging it, so it would feel like you know what I'm saying, like very natural. So what I'm
Mhm.
thinking now is we are in the post solar eclipse, but I know we still got a couple planets in retrograde. I'm not sure what that is, so I would ask the what to expect from and I because I didn't wake up, I didn't do any R&D this morning, I didn't like go search nothing, but like the celestial canopy.
Mhm.
How should we look to I ain't gonna say how should we look to feel, how should we look to be aware of what particular energies type shit? Because I'll say that I was super happy like yes, you remember I talked to you yesterday?
Mhm.
You said some real shit. I was crying all morning, but like tears of like joy and gratitude. But then yesterday evening, I know like when I got up with Audie was driving around, nigga, everything was hilarious. I'm talking about we were laughing for like 3 hours straight, right? So but then when I woke up this morning, you know what I'm saying? Like I won't say heavy, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just running through the whole spectrum of emotions because nothing happened that went wrong or did anything. But today I do feel more solemn, I guess you would say, like thoughtful. Like I'm deep. Whereas yesterday I was deep in thought, then I was happy in gratitude, then I was like laughing. Now I'm deep in thought, and it's kind of like serious. You know what I mean?
Well, I think aside from astrology, I think the conversation was so raw that you got those feels. And sometimes when we have those intense emotions, that our nervous system is like, eh. So it has to get back normal and calm back down. So you're probably just feeling the effects of yesterday's rawness because I have a lot of those moments and times myself where I'm like, oh goodness, I had a very emotional day, whether I'm crying for joy or anger or I'm sad or something like that. Feeling those emotions and allowing yourself to go through that range of emotion actually can wear on you. So that might be why you're feeling that energy you used to put into it yesterday. That's what yeah, that might be why you're feeling that way today.
That makes a lot of sense because I definitely went to bed early last night. Like I felt not exhausted but spent. You know how like you're like, yo, today was a full day. I
Yeah.
did a little bit of everything. I experienced all the range of emotions. I physically moved. I had spiritual conversations. I had emotional conversations. I had amazing sex. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a blend of all the I think the what you could feel as a human, and I think that that's like really one of my largest interests in life is to like live in a way where I can say I feel alive. So like I lean into all of my you know what I'm saying? Like I lean into all of my emotions. I might not stay there if I recognize that like this particular emotion doesn't serve me to hold it.
Mhm.
But do I allow myself to feel them? Hell yeah. And they just like even like yesterday, like we were saying, we was talking, like I was just allowing myself to feel it. and we was talking about some serious shit. And the fact that I could feel what I was feeling in our conversation is what really made the tears of gratitude. It wasn't even necessarily that, yo, I'm talking to somebody and I feel understood or I feel seen or nothing like that. It absolutely was more like, this feels so alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if at times, like, it hurt. You feel me? And I think that, like, society would be more healthy if we could take that approach to what we view as like our pains in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this how I know I'm alive because I care.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of sensitivity. To feel is to be alive, and I think, like you kind of touched on, in today's society, we kind of just keep it moving, and we got to keep it going because we got to keep our lives in line and in check. And so, a lot of times, we're not dealing with the real issues, and because we're not dealing with those emotions, we're not like, I can't even say we're healthily coping. We're being distracted. So we're not dealing with it. And what ends up happening is you're still going to have those emotions deep down. They're buried. And sometimes people bury them so deep that it's hard for them to connect to it. And I never want to be a person that's like, oh, I've become desensitized to everything and I don't feel anything. I'm not a robot. No one is a robot. So I
Word.
more times we need to respect how we're feeling and be honest with ourselves, even when that shit hurt. I hurt my own damn feelings, okay?
All the time.
Like all the time. But like to be able to feel is a blessing because if you're not feeling, you're dead. You are literally dead.
The
And
walking dead.
people prefer that nowadays. And I'm like, I don't like not feeling. Like, I don't like to feel like I have to shut myself off to have a relationship with someone or interact with them or do a job or anything like that because I'm not living fully. And
Right.
until you get in a place where you can accept, have accountability, and deal with the things that you have going on and those deep emotions, you're going to be stunted. You will be stunted. And it's hard. Like, you can't heal if you don't even know what you're healing from.
Come on, talk that
And
shit.
and so it's like you have to give yourself leeway and be able to be in tune. And I know people who have gone through so much, but it's like they just keep going and they don't be in tune and then they break. They crash. Nervous breakdown. If you don't take care of yourself, your body is going to respond and do it for you. It will shut down. Just like if you don't get enough rest, you'll get sick and shut down. If you're not getting these emotions up and they're bottled up, you're going to have a breakdown, nervous, mental, whatever, because you've still got that stuff going on. It just doesn't disappear because you don't want to deal with it.
I think if you I you said so much there to unpack. But I think in making it practical to like men, because I'm a black man, I think niggas do that so much. And to be honest, I think that's like in the streets you know what I'm saying? Like I think getting in the street when you in the streets, a lot of us jump in the streets in our teens and shit. You know what I'm saying? And we're selling drugs or whatever the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? But I think that we do that because we gotta survive. So, survive, in our minds, like we can't survive off other shit. But anyway, people pick and choose and then they give themselves justifications. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if you're like, oh, I can't afford to think about that, man, I got this bill to pay or that bill to pay, and we just occupy ourselves with the survival, I think the abdication of our spiritual progress like forces it. I think that's I can 100% say that's how I went to jail.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could be in a car and be like, man, you ain't supposed to be in this car. Something is telling me this. Like, go. I ain't listen. I'm like, man, where else? I'm talking to myself now. What else are you gonna do? This is the best opportunity you have to make some money. Who trying to help put you on your feet more than this person right now?
Mm.
The answer to that question should have been me. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't. It's a bunch of shit I don't really want to address. I don't want to address how irresponsible I was being at that point in time. Like I would have rather given the power to someone else to create my future. You know what I mean? And it's like
We talked
that
about
cross applies not just from, oh man, this who giving me my work, so I'm with whatever he with, to nigga, I've had jobs where it's like, oh well fuck, this is how I get my check. I gotta listen to this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Tell me I'm doing it. Oh, John, you're doing the donut wrong. We do not do that is not the Dunkin' way. I heard so much about the Dunkin' way when I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts, you know what I'm saying? Like, no bullshit, but it wasn't until, again, I took the like, if you forego it, and I think we was talking about this yesterday, but I was like, after about 3 months, nigga, the smell of coffee itself just began to make me nauseous. And
Mm.
it's like, okay, this might have been cool for a season, but this is not supposed to be what you're doing, bro. And then it was like I physically couldn't go to work because I'll get nauseous. I'm like, man, bro, it's bigger than just have. You can get a job doing anything. You can make money multiple ways. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to give up on yourself because that's all yourself has at the moment. And I think if we could get more people into the pursuit of their spiritual journey, I think people will be able to ride the ebbs and the flows of these ups and downs of the physical part of life like way easier. I think that is what our elders had over us. They had more indulgence in the spiritual aspect of life. Whereas, like you said, like we becoming more like robots and shit.
To say that, to have that spiritual relationship and knowledge, you have to have knowledge of self. There are so many people walking around who don't know who they are. They have no self pride. I think we touched on this in like black pride and having actually loving yourself, genuinely loving yourself. So if you don't know who you are, you're definitely not familiar with your spirit. And a lot of times
Mm.
we live in such a capitalistic society. I mean, touched on this, like I gotta go to work, I gotta pay my bills, I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. But if it's not feeding your spirit, you are spiritually bankrupt. Um, all the things that I have been through. I remember I had to walk away from my job. My job I love. Like I love clothes. Like that's the thing. Like retail, and the thing is, like I say all the time, I love humanity. I hate people, and I love humanity, but I love helping people. Like I love making them feel good, which is why I did so well in retail. And at the time, like I had made it to I'm basically assistant store manager because I'm up under the store manager. I'm the only one trained in all of the things, and like I'm helping her and helping everyone else too. And like when I had to leave my job, like that day was like, oh fuck, what am I going to do? I remember sitting outside my job crying because it was one of the best work experiences that I had. Like the culture was cool, the people were cool. I mean, like everybody has their things, but I used to teach, so I'm used to managing people. Like I had risen really high in like really fast. I started as a
Yeah.
temp. 5 months later, I was HR. And then like once I got to that point, then it's like, okay, well, I want to do this, do that. And I was able to jump around and do that. And it gave me a lot of flexibility. And it's like, I know I'm not good at sitting in the office. I got to move around. I need to walk around. I need to talk to all of my people. And so then when I had to leave it, I was super, super upset because it's hard to find a job or employment that you feel like, oh, I'm doing something and it makes me happy. And I'm a firm believer, like I will leave a job if it's not working for me. And like when I had to leave that job that day and I sat outside my job and cried, I was like, oh gosh, I can't like I have to release this. Like my physical self cannot handle this. I have to lean on the spiritual aspect of it. I have to be strong because it was not just me. I have my 3 kids and they were younger then. And I
Right.
mean, the situation with my ex, he's in prison and stuff. So I was like doing it by myself. My mother-in-law helped me a lot. But like it was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna feed these kids and stuff. And like I literally had to just lean on faith. But at that time, I had already started my spiritual journey. So I had started building my relationship. And I always say that my first stop in my spiritual journey was Christianity. It's not the last stop. That was just a great way to get into it because we're in America. It's all around us and things like that. And I'm a researcher. I'm going to read. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do all of the things.
Right.
So, but people don't they don't be in tune to wanting to know what's going on with them spiritually because you really have to look at yourself. And when you have to strip all of that down and look at yourself, it's not always a beautiful picture. You have to deal with that and you have to live with that. And then you have to decide whether or not this is going to be for me or am I going to make a change? And it's hard, hard, hard to change. So first people need to
Change
know
it.
themselves before they even get to knowing their spirit because you got to do that dirty work.
So it begins with education.
I mean, we were all slightly educated when it comes to like the families we were born into and what their religious beliefs are. But then you have to do the real education because you're looking through the lens of like your parents or your grandmas or your aunties and stuff. So then you have to do the work to say, well, what actually matters and like works for me. Like I'm a firm believer in like the 20s is the time you have your fun, you do whatever. In your 30s, that's when it was really like, oh, this is who I am. This is how I respond in situations. I'm doing this work, this shadow work. I'm dealing with my childhood trauma and all of the things. So it's a lot if people really want that type of spiritual like strength and faith and like that work and to actually feel relieved enough to actually be like, I can step away from this and I know I'll be good. I know I'll be carried through this situation. Like, and that's what it's been for me. But I've done the work. Like, there's some things I might not like about myself, but that means I'm also in a position to change those things because I know about them going back to educating. What you doing? You all dark.
Okay, I'm back.
Your screen black.
My screen went black.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
just on the screen.
I don't see me on the screen. That's crazy. Hold on. I came and sat back down, but I just see my chair. Let me see if I can fix
Well,
it.
you were. I seen when you walked away, but then it like
Bring me back.
right. Child, you was talk about my phone freezing.
Right. Now, yo, you know what's crazy is your phone was freezing, but now your shit is clear as fuck
I
and
was
it's
right next
working
to the router.
perfectly. And my shit is tripping.
It's on black.
All
Well,
right,
you
let me
know
talk
what?
to
It
you.
speaks to those people who don't know their spirit. Not saying that you don't know your spirit, but it's on brand for what I was talking about.
We
Oh
back.
goodness, it
We
is.
back. Can you see me?
No, I still can't see you.
Oh, I'm actually I can see me. I'm moving well. You're actually clear as you've been. Before up to now you were choppy, but now it looks like as if we were on a FaceTime.
Okay, that's good.
Hopefully it don't look like that for them. Um Currently there's no one in the chat, but that's just because I don't got a lot of YouTube followers. But I realized I can't go live on Patreon and split the screens. So when I be seeing people do that, I know now that they were on YouTube and the
Mm.
streamers be like cross doing everything across multiple platforms at one time.
I think you can use StreamYard for that too. Some
Yeah,
people don't.
somebody was telling me I needed like a Steam Deck or a Stream Deck,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and looked, and I'm like, this is basically it's like something that you could plug everything, and you could just like switch between using it. It's like a controller for
Mm.
controlling a stream, but that shit had a nice little ticket on it that I'm like, um, I don't even have any of these other things yet, so I'm just going, you know what I'm saying? I'll just do it for the YouTube for the current time being.
It
Um,
could be shared later.
yeah, well, that's the thing, because so it's like if we're on YouTube Live right now, if you're catching this live, then that's cool. But once we end this live, I'm gonna load it up to my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
then it will
yeah.
be behind a paywall, so only the people who like are sub to my Patreon will be able to see this.
Like me.
Yeah, so that's cool. You know what? You were talking, and it gave me a question, and I wanted to say because when God invented man and this, that, or the third, primitive world, right? Or
Mm.
so we think, because who knows? I really think them Egyptian niggas had mad technology that just got wiped out that we can't see the technology. We could only see what was built. But
Well, I mean, you know they went underneath those pyramids
and
all the
then
way
big
down and they
columns
hung
is
up
there,
towers.
like, what the fuck is that, right? So that's
So
what I'm
yes, they
saying.
definitely had the technology.
I think the same thing is gonna happen to us. Like if an asteroid fly by and wipe out all the Wi-Fi and shit, we'll be back in the Stone Age, but we will never have had like if the future comes and looks, they won't have proof that
We had
we
Wi-Fi.
had Wi-Fi. They would think that we were just telepathic. You know what I'm saying? And are we not? You know what I mean? But anyway, I
All of
digress.
us aren't.
The question that I was gonna ask was because it was a primitive world, do you think a lot of people are not on their spiritual journey because they don't have jobs that fulfill their humanity purpose? Like I get it, we need we need plumbers as much as we need lawyers. And some niggas really love their work and make a business out of it and this, that, or the third. But say like they saying AI gonna wipe out like 90% of data entry jobs. So people that are like secretaries or some shit like that, do you think that like regular jobs is be like killing spirituality? Like, cause they a lot of these jobs were not around when humanity was like simpler.
Well, I'll say this. I don't think it's necessarily the jobs. I think it's before then because your spirit, you come here with that spirit. And I think that events in life can take that from you or dim that spirit and make you
Mm.
not want to follow it. Like I've been saying, you have to know yourself. And I think I brought this up another time that people would prefer everything be told to them like do this, do that, do this and do that. This is a spot, if this is how it's supposed to happen, rather than actually think for themselves. So people who think for themselves are often ostracized. They're called different, they're called weird, they're out of the
We
norm.
are the outliers.
Like a lot of people, like that human need to feel a part of and be normal. So that in itself will stop your spirit from the growth that it needs to be, because you're so busy like, oh, I need a plan, I need it written out, this is exact, I need my picket fence, 2 kids, and a dog. So a lot of people will give up their
Mm,
thoughts and their spirit and their livelihood, like life, your spirit and your soul is your life. And like you have to be in tune to that. And a lot of people be spiritually dead, not just bankrupt, but dead too, because life has beat on them so bad. So it's like you're not even thinking about your job. You're like, all right, that's survival. And that's someone who had just had to be in survival mode for the last year. You think totally different. And it's like it was harder for me to do the healing and to do the spiritual work while I was in that, because I'm like, I've got to survive. I got to make it for these kids. But I also knew in the back of my head that this is only for a moment in time. Storms don't last. Like, and that helps you to not get depressed or anything. It's just like, all right, I just know I'm having a bad time right now, or it's a bad day. I just need to make sure I keep going and doing. But that also goes back to my faith and my spirit, because I'm like, I'll always be okay. No
yeah,
matter what, I'll always be okay.
faith
So,
is the faith. Because I'm about to add. I was about to ask, and I think faith will be the answer now. But I was definitely about to ask you, what would you say is the number one contributing factor to you being able to successfully begin and be, you know what I'm saying, like actively involved in that transition of going from survival mode to a greater sense of peace and earnestly like taking up your spiritual journey.
Um, well, first and foremost, I had to decompress because your nervous system is all over the place. I think I cried for like 2 months. Like I would have those random moments where it's just like I would let it out because I couldn't in survival mode. And it's just like, all right, my spirit feels safe and it feels stable and comfortable. Now I can release. So a lot of what I've been going through is decompression. And then it's like I have to rewire my brain and be like, all right, I need like yeah, I have my responsibilities. They're gonna always be there. But now it's like I need to do the inner work on myself. And me doing the work on myself is gonna be better all around for everyone, including my children and my family and for myself. Like you can't pour from an empty cup. And that's what I was essentially trying to do. And now, like when you do that work and you sit back and you're like, damn, I'd be like, damn, I went through a whole lot of stuff. Like I started crying yesterday, remember?
Yeah,
And
I think that shit, nigga. The shit had me crying all over again. I'm not gonna hold you.
it was just like it's heavy to sit with that. And that's probably like I told you, I was up for like 18 hours yesterday. And by the end of the day, like by 10, I'm like well, not even 10, by like 7 p.m. I'm manic. But that emotional flow and depth and stuff. And it's tiring to go through all those emotions. It's like, oh, I just had some time with my spirit right now. And it's not easy to sit there with that. But like the transition is the decomposition, acknowledging where you are and letting it happen. You have to let it happen. And then I like I think we brought up education. I search for it. Like I'm gonna read, like I'll read the Bible, I'll read the banned books, listen to audiobooks on other types of religions and beliefs and stuff like that, because that's how I can learn and nurture myself and see what works for me and feeds my soul and my spirit. But you have to want it. You have to want to do that. You have to want to be deep, because people look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, I see all that you doing right there and all that work. And it's because I'm in tune. And it's like I pay attention and stuff. Like Went to school for mass communications, so communications on lock. I did extremely well in sociology and psychology. So when it comes to people and stuff
Mm,
and communicating with them, I pay a lot of attention. And people think because I don't say anything or I don't ask questions that I'm not paying attention. I'm also a fast component of don't let everybody know what you know. Because being attractive, they automatically think I don't know a lot. And I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. And I'll just start talking because that's not what, I predicate myself on. It's like what's inside is what matters. And like if I can't connect to you, like my spirit gonna feel it. They say it's a vibe or whatever. That's the spirit. Can
yeah,
my spirit see your spirit? Do our spirits respect each other?
right,
And like if I like immediately I'll know that about somebody within like minutes. And if it is and then don't see it, I just be like, let me stay back. But that's because I did the work. I spent a lot of time to myself. I know people who can't sit in the room by themselves.
right. No, I
And
do
that's
too.
really, really sad.
No, I definitely do too. I think that there's a large majority of people can't sit in a room by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Not for no extended period of time, maybe a few minutes. But
Mm,
if you force somebody to like sit in a room for them with by themselves for like 6 hours, I think that motherfuckers be ready to go crazy around hour three.
mm,
No bullshit. And if it because if it would have to be like just a room though, it would have to be like the casino. You can't see outside, so your sense of time gonna get warped. We gonna give you some drinks as soon as you get in here, get you nice and wet, and then but you can't go to sleep though. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get the money if you go to sleep with some shit. I think niggas would be forced to confront like a lot of shit. You mentioned multiple times people being like spiritually bankrupt and spiritually dead. Yesterday was supposed to be the rapture.
I don't
What
even
are
consider
your
myself
thoughts on
Christian,
that?
but that
So,
Bible, that word says you ain't gonna know. Don't nobody know except for the Father.
right. So, where did that even come from yesterday? Who decided that it was yesterday?
The palm colored people, like we know who.
Yo, all right. So, if
That's
it
why
was
all the people
yesterday,
like this was like, what the hell is y'all talking about?
because I never, I shit, nigga. I felt like I remember them saying in 2012 because that was like the Mayans.
The Mayan calendar.
Yep. And I remember 99 because they was just like it's gonna reset.
Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K. The computers couldn't do it or some shit. So I remember living through a couple times where they're like, yo, the world is gonna end, all the computers are gonna shut down, and we're gonna go back to the Stone Age, and it didn't happen. And then, the Mayans, they had the right calendar though. So it's like it's gonna end. And then we're like, now it's like the rapture, nothing happened, but they say we got aliens coming in like 3 months. So like
Oh
what
yeah, I'm waiting for them to come.
I was
But
so
like this
done
isn't
with
the
the
first
aliens.
time spiritually that they've said, "Oh, this is the time of the rapture." It was in like the early 1900s too. So it's in like 1915 or something, like 1914 or something like that. Different sects have their different things. Because I'm like, who the
They've
hell
been
wrote that?
promising
'Cause
this shit for over 100 years, trying to use it as a tool for control. You know what I'm saying? Controlling people through fear. But my thing is, whether it was or it wasn't yesterday, obviously, a large majority of people believe in it is symbolic of something. So, what is it that should occur? Like, I mean, obviously, I would say, yo, you need to take up your spiritual journey a little more or whatever. But that would be like maybe like the surface answer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
what does the rapture mean to you?
Uh, the rapture to me, I like
Not
that's sad.
necessarily yesterday, just the word, like rapture in whether it's in its biblical connotation or not. Like just what does the rapture mean to you?
Honestly, it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean anything at all to me. But like I said, I'm not Christian. I do believe in a higher power, higher source power and stuff. But the other things that I believe in does not fall under Christian guidelines or in that book that they have, the Bible. So I can't consider myself Christian. And that's why I'm like, the rapture doesn't really mean anything to me because what they were saying, they're only taking 144,000 people.
Word? So
Yeah,
wait,
like that's what some
out
of
of
the beliefs is.
8
It's only
billion?
like and it's 8 billion of us on this earth. So even if 100,000 of us are gone, would we even notice?
What if yesterday 100,000 people got reptilian brain implants? And now there's active Manchurian candidates. Like they active, they for real, they out here. Like that one nigga that lived mad times because every the Rockefeller is it the Rockefeller nigga? Every time he's finna die, he get a new heart and shit. But then when
Mm,
you see the pictures, his face be looking more and more like grotesque and shit.
mm.
That's yo like I think there's a large, very large agenda to keep the spiritual journey suppressed for people, not even expressed. And that's, I think religion play a big hand in that. You know what I'm saying? But when I think about my life, like I look back on my life, right? The most significant moments, top 10 easily. And when I think of my top 10, the most significant moments, they were all moments that had very heavy elements of spirituality to the point where it's like this might be a OBE, or you know what I'm saying? Like this is I'm seeing something that there's no way science could explain what I'm seeing. Like, you know what I mean? Like they had the elements, but they occurred. Yet if I tried to talk to anybody about these things on average, you know what I'm saying? Like you're my friend, I could talk about, I saw a shadow move on its own. Like it was a manless shadow. There was no man to control the shadow moving
Mhm.
because I was sitting down. But the shadow, I witnessed the shadow walk across the room in this trap house that I was in before. You know what I'm saying? And it was a apartment where someone had lost their life before. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in there and I'm selling drugs and I'm sitting with crackheads around me and shit. Like I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
truly get it. In my old apartment building on 14th Street, I was at the top floor talking to one of my girlfriends, and I was like leaning on a banister, and then I felt something like push me. And I was like, yo, what the hell? I've always had good balance. And I'm like, dog, what the hell was that? And that's also why I'm like, I can't even say I'm a Christian because ain't no ghosts, some demons if you're a Christian. And it's like, I believe, like, and even at my aunt's old house, my great grandma had passed in there, and I was in the basement on the computer, and I'm like, I just getting this feeling like chills and stuff like that. And I think my grandmother was the one who was just like, if anyone's in there with you, it's just your great grandma. She just want to help you before she harms you. I have a heavy belief that some spirits they don't pass on. Like sometimes it's trauma and that they replay it and go through that. I remember going to a shanty town in Utah when I was like 12. And I'm in this shanty house, and mind you, I'm the only person this colored because I was in private school. And I'm like, y'all don't feel that? And you know how like they show like flashbacks in movies and it's like grainy and hazy and looking around, that's what it felt like. I've been in the catacombs in Italy under the skull church, that church of bones and skulls. I've been in the catacombs under there. You know how freaky that shit is? And I'm like, why am I the only person that feels this? I was like 13 at the time. I'm like,
mm,
y'all don't feel that energy and it feels suffocating. It's heavy. And I'm like, the
mm,
fact that we're just around here with all these catacombs, like y'all cool with this. And like maybe that's why I'm comfortable with death, hence my cemetery pants. But like it's a part of life. I believe that some people are get reincarnated. I believe in soul contracts. I believe that if you have a mission on to come back and do that, you have to do that before you can ascend to wherever you go after you've done the work that you need to do here. So that's also why I can't claim Christianity. But
now that make a lot of sense because man, I done been some place when you talk about like just the feeling of places, like the spiritual feeling. I think we're talking about different levels of clairvoyance and things of that nature because they got like the kind where you smell, the kind where you see, the
mhm,
kind where you feel.
I
I
share
know
this
very
in
like
it.
I've been in hoods all over America, right? And damn near usually feel most at home in the hood. Yo,
Mm,
listen, we went to Gary, Indiana one time, and that was the first city I ever been in that the whole time we was outside, like moving around, like I'm walking around with my it's my sister's baby father's like his family, so we kind of like kicking it and shit. And I ain't gonna hold, that's the only city I ever been to in America that I just was like, I don't ever want to come back here. And that ain't no knock. And I know some niggas from there, you know what I'm saying? So
I know someone from there too.
like
I used to work with.
they're cool. The niggas I know is cool. They actually get fly and all that shit. They real niggas, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe some kind of clairvoyance where I'm tapped into something in my bloodline that was once there. Like it's like you're not supposed to be here, bro. Like I think it's different portals. You know what I'm saying? Like that open up for our spiritual, you know what I'm saying? Like ascension and shit. So it's like if I go to Georgia and I stand on Stone Mountain, which is a big
I've
court
done that
system.
before.
You know what I'm saying? Wait, have you made it to that part in the book yet? I know you got the book and you've been reading,
No, no,
man.
no, I haven't made it to that part of the book yet.
Okay,
Don't.
all right. So anyway, I ain't gonna really go too deep into that. But what I'm saying is, I think it's different locations that will enable you to access different parts of yourself for your spiritual ascension. But I think there's also locations where you could feel maybe the opposite would occur. You know what I'm saying? And like, cause they was all them niggas is like damn near criminal. You know what I mean? And it's its own thing. Um, but man, I've been places, and it's like when I used to go to DC, I used to feel like I belong here. There's something that I'm supposed to be here. And nigga, I was out there for like 2.5 years, not knowing that my sister, who I didn't know was my sister, because I didn't meet my dad until I was like damn near 30, you know what I'm saying? Type shit. Um, my sister was living right down the street from me. The
Mm.
whole time. I'm living right there in Hyattsville. Literally, if I would have got on what is it? Michigan Avenue?
Yeah, Michigan Avenue.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I would have just went down Michigan, I could have randomly one day just seen my sister.
Oh yeah, she's over there in
You know what
Brooklyn.
I'm saying? And now that I done met her, when I met her, I'm like, I knew I was supposed to be in DC for a reason, and you know what I'm saying? All of that sort of shit. Because I ended up like just going to to visit her. I think I was in Richmond at the time when we discovered each other through like the phones. But I had
Mhm.
already kind of like spent time in DC and shit like that. And I'm like, I knew I was supposed to be out here. So now I chop it up with them anytime like I pass through the area and all of that. And but I knew it. I knew it. I could feel it. Maybe it was I could feel
You feel
literally
her.
her radiance.
It's
You know
her.
what I'm saying? Because I'm in a certain mile proximity, and it was like, yo, you feel something something feels at home here because there's another large part of you that's here because we share a father. You know what I'm saying? So like the blood is very, you know what I mean? Like in the Bible would say it's power in the blood and shit. So I think about shit like that, and I be like, damn,
I had that happen
what
in
are the
Georgia.
limits? Are there limits to that? You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
don't think so. I told you. I think I told you I had moved to Georgia. When I had moved to Georgia, I found a cousin of mine, like a blood
what?
relative,
Nah, I
and we.
don't think I know that.
Oh, okay. So the job I told you I had to leave, our store was leasing space to another store. And the manager of that store, him and I were like this because, like I said, I was up under my store manager all the time. I did all of the things. When she wasn't there, I had to walk through with the people and tell them, like, hey, let me see the plans. You guys have this much space to this much space. Or what are you looking at? Do you need to give some? You guys have this closet, whatever. But when he finally came in, we clicked like this. His birthday is the day after mine, and he's a year older than me. And we clicked like this. Matter of fact, there were rumors being started about us messing around, even though he was gay. And I'm like, you can't tell this is a gay man. But we were like this, and I had took a DNA test like that July, and I found and he's the one who called me. He was like, did you see that we cousins? And I'm like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, we are. And it was so funny because I'm like, he looks like my youngest brother, which is crazy. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is why we were like this. And we didn't even like we hadn't even known that for like almost a year or even like a year. We didn't even know that. And it was like, oh no, you my cousin, you my folks. And then like we could see who that connection was. I don't know who that lady is, but we cousins through her. And that's DNA. And I'm like, that is crazy that you can sense like you have that connection with people you're related to. And
Mhm.
it's like it's not even like a and it wasn't even a super close it's like a fourth cousin, a third or fourth cousin, something like
Yeah.
that. But we clicked so well. And then it ain't helped that our birthdays was right there, right next to each other. I
Mhm.
love
Yeah,
him.
right.
I love him down. And he helped me through a lot of stuff. And the thing is we would fuck with people. Like the girl who sat there and made the room and I was like, come on, let's say we're gonna go to the movies or whatever and see if she started a rumor. And she did. And it's funny, you say Gary, Indiana, because that day I had cried after I lost my job. When I lost it, I left it.
Mhm.
Um, the lady who sat out there with me is the white lady. She was from Gary, Indiana. She just helped, but she also reminded me of my mom. And she was scrappy, and red hair, scrappy with her glasses, and just funny as hell. So like I like took to her, and I think she took to me too because her daughter was around my age and my mom was around her age, and she was a Sagittarius. I was an Aquarius, so it worked. I get along really well with Sagittarius women, and When you brought up Gary, Indiana, I made me think of her, and the fact that I had already started talking about when I had to leave my job and was crying. She was the one that was there for me, but she also was the one who came and told me that that girl was like, "Oh, she's saying that she said that y'all supposed to be going to the movies, and that she doesn't think he's gay, that he's bisexual." And I'm like, okay, and then at that point, I'm like, "We about to take it to the store manager because at this point, I'm HR. The only person who can check me is my store manager, and if we
Right.
have issues, then we got to go to corporate." So I'm like, all this drama started because we were just really, really cool, and we was fan. I was like, and I don't even know if that girl know that we blood cousins, and she
Yo,
wanted to start
even
Charlene.
even the fact that you just mentioned that the lady was from Gary, Indiana. I'm just talking about Gary, Indiana. Like the image of a million overlapping shit, like the quilt of life, comes to mind. Like how much of this shit is by a preordained design?
It's all connected, but time isn't linear. Like
It's
I believe
definitely all
film that
connected.
too.
So this shit is like everything is everything. Then the connection will be found as deep as you're willing to go. That's real.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's some real shit.
People probably be more connected if they opened up and talked more. They probably realize they have a lot more in common than they think they don't.
Well, that's what I want to be doing with this. And originally with the burning bill concept, even when I was doing them before that, they was like a visual thing. Because originally I was just doing them in Spotify in the car and shit like that. Because I was thinking, and I'm glad that I did think that way. Because there's people that I did burning bills with that aren't here anymore, and that was part of my pitch to them. Like, yo,
Mm,
like, man, niggas don't nobody care about niggas until niggas really die or go to jail. Like, and then everybody be like fighting over your last few possessions or everybody resharing the same old photos, man. Fucking nigga, do this live with me. You know what I'm saying? Not in a way where I was trying to predict nobody death because I've done them with multiple people that aren't here anymore. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that their life trajectories were their life trajectories. You know what I'm saying? Like without that, but I'm glad that we did that because I have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes I can go and I can just still hear my nigga's voice because I can listen to a conversation that we had that was like this. You know what I mean? And I don't know. You know what's crazy is the niggas that I did them conversations with are the niggas that I know that like are the most spiritually comfortable with themselves. So they were open to having conversations, even though all the conversations weren't about spirituality. They were about nothing, like and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like just
yeah.
like this is. We got on this. We didn't have a template. I just know that typically listening to you speak inspires thought and speech in me, and it. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes like tennis and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it goes like back and forth. But there be a lot of good poignant ideas or little points made where it's like I walk away from the conversation feeling more edified by knowing that one, I'm not alone in questioning life on this level, like having a curiosity for life on this level.
Hmm.
Um, but two, not the not alone, the one that's not alone. One, I don't want nobody want to be alone, even if he was crazy. But two, I'm not crazy.
No, you're
You
not.
know what I'm saying? Like I'm not crazy because you say many things to me that when I hear them, they have a deep resonance. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Especially like pertaining like to the astrology stuff because I'm like just not as well studied. You know what I'm saying? Or I just don't have as much experience. So when you tell me things, and it's like you could tell me something about myself that I could accept about myself because I feel like you actually understand where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh nah, nigga, you Aries sun and Aries Venus, so I knew you was gonna be whorish. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because that just came to mind because of the post you was making this morning about like niggas being whores and lust demons and shit like that. And
But wanting virtuous women.
yeah, but see, well, see, that's why I'll say I agree that I was nigga, I was a complete whore, like less than a whore, because whores earn. You know what I'm saying?
But were you preying on virtuous, less
No, that's what I
experienced
was gonna
women?
say.
Like
I
that's
just
the
wasn't.
difference. Those
Nah,
are
I wasn't
type
picky. It
suckers.
didn't. All you had to do was like me or act like you liked me. So it didn't matter if you was virtuous or unvirtuous. In fact, for a long period of time, I preferred the more or less virtuous, just because typically things could happen faster, and if they were to come to an end, they could be accepted more easily and readily on both ends. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the virtuous girl, even if you or even if you're as honest as I am now, which I am, you know what I'm saying? Even thinking of just, when I'm cross comparing to like years and years ago, even if it was a situation where I was honest, if it ends and it doesn't end with the other person feeling well, then there's no way for you to not feel a sense of guilt and consider yourself a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like on my share of this absolutely didn't work out because of me. And I've had my fair share of um it could work, but knowing that I would have to be the one to dominantly make it work so this doesn't work out for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not as close to mutual as I need. Because I think we all got like our what you would call settling point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's my I got you can call it settling point, you can call it standards. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, it's the bare minimum
Or
that
what you
we
actually want.
particularly require. And I think, especially in our youth, we indulge in many things beneath our bare minimum, at least for a period of time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Functioning in some level of, you was manipulating yourself. You know what I'm saying? But in you manipulating yourself, if it's an experience where you're having union with another, then you've also now manipulated another because you wasn't keeping it real with yourself. You feel me? Now, I think that that's the issue currently. That's like one that's plaguing our generation is that like everybody fronting for themselves, so can hardly nobody keep it real with nobody else. So that has turned that level, the resentment of fuck it, we're all gonna lean into like a transactional
Hmm.
relationship, which you know what I'm saying is like a different thing because a soul isn't to be sold. And when you make a union with someone, I'm not even talking about kids. When you make a union with someone, at that time that y'all are in union, y'all are creating like maybe not a soul because y'all didn't make a baby, but there's now existing a spirit between you.
You
You know
create
what I'm saying?
energy.
Yeah, it's shared energy. You created that energy. So even if I go my way and you go your way, there was still the energy that we created here. We both gave to it and it has its own resonance. And so just like, the moon and all of that shit, I'm gonna be affected by this energy. I think that's I'm moving the mic around. I don't know if that just sounded crazy. But I think that's like one of the main like issues and um I think the only way to get like through that is like stuff like this. So maybe if we have this conversation aloud in the way we've had it, right? Someone that's listening to it can play it back for someone else to say, "Hey, yo, this is sort of shit I be talking about." You know what I'm saying? And now they might not feel so isolated in their attempt to share that level of that depth of exploration with someone else because it's like, nah, like, look, I'm telling you, like, it's people always to avoid themselves. You know what I'm saying? For survival, because don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying we don't have justifiable reasons for saying, man, I don't got time to sit with my hand on my fist and just ponder philosophy.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm
Life
saying?
gonna keep happening. It's gonna keep going. It don't stop for nobody.
You know what I'm saying? And so I can't be condescending anyway because niggas is pretty proud of this. For me, it's up and down. So I don't know. I'm never trying to look down on nobody, but I do recognize that there is like a calling and a pulling on my own particular spirit to make something of myself in this life that is of service to other people. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that's
Well,
is
that's a spiritual thing. The spirit helps others. It serves others. The ego serves self. A lot of people are living in the ego.
yeah. I feel like I burnt out all my desires before they burnt me out because I'm still alive, and I know a lot of niggas that died trying to, you know what I'm saying, like pursue their desires and shit like that. So I definitely agree. I want to now be of service. My ego, like, it's been full and it's been broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been broken many times. Shit, nigga, depending on depending on how any man. But there's a it's actually true self worth, not worth derived from the ego pursuit of dopamine release. You know what I'm saying? From
Mhm.
being immediately gratified and shit. So it's like I'm not chasing immediate gratification in that way because I often, like I said, I did that shit at such excess that um you can get desensitized to anything for real. You know what I'm saying? In a way where it's like, yo, I don't want to have just surface level interactions, and even something that's supposed to be soul stirring can be like degraded to just a surface level interaction. You know what I'm saying? Which it shouldn't be, but it's possible. So like, nah, man, I think like conversations like this are just some of the most interesting because we can talk about spirit, and the more we speak about it, the more life we give to it. So the more I speak about my spiritual pursuit, the more the weight of responsibility is placed on me to honor it. Otherwise, I'm doing more of the very thing that I complained about anyway, damn near virtue signaling. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you acting deep, you ain't deep, nigga. You know what I mean? So like, so for instance, I'm excited for Sober October because on Sober October, I attempt to fast for all
I
these
feel.
in the last few years, I've averaged making it about 10 days to 14 days without before I'd be like, all right, nah, I got the benefits of the fast already. I'm ready to smoke now. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I feel like I make it about 2 weeks and then I really probably see like the benefits of my mental shift or whatever. Sex, my average for that is probably about like 3 days. There's been many years where I haven't made it 24 hours. There's been some years, I think like the longest I ever made it was maybe like 16 days or something like that.
Yeah.
That was only like 1 year. Every other year, it's less than a week. Which, you know, when I look back on that and I think back on those years, it's like so much of the continuation of the relationship, nigga, is predicated on us uh uh validating the relationship through this experience. You know what I'm saying? So like fasting from sex and you know, the immediate gratification dopamines that it gives you at that point in time, nigga, it'll have motherfuckers not getting the peace that makes them okay with what truly makes them up.
Mm. Kinda so. I'm
It's like
listening to you. I
if
have a
we
point to make
fucking
about connection and everybody being connected, but I want to let you finish because it kind of connects a lot of different points in our conversation. So
yeah, well, I'm 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 just speaking when I'm cross comparing my entire life. But when you're fucking someone, for instance, say if it's a toxic, if you have a toxic relationship with somebody and y'all fucking, a lot of times the fucking like keep the validity of the relationship. Like y'all might know y'all toxic for each other, but if you fucked and you like, yeah, nah, it's all good. I feel good. This is why I'm fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like you,
because it's a physical attachment.
Yes, it's
It's
more
not a
mature.
bond.
Like
It's
you,
just an attachment. A bond and
yes.
attachment are two totally different things. I just do that.
Come on, talk the shit. Talk the shit. Go ahead. I wasn't even going to interrupt you. I said let you go out.
So, because I just went through this situation for like 10 months on and off, and it's like it'll make you feel like you have something with someone because you are physically intimate. That does not mean you are emotionally or spiritually intimate. And your spirit might get tied in that. Now you got sexual soul ties, but you are not emotionally tied to that person. You don't have a bond with them. Bond is made through memories. You are only attached to them, which is something that is physical. It is not something that is emotional, and then people get caught up on that, and then they like, oh, I put this time into my value into. No, cut that shit off, let it go. But when I wanted to talk about connecting, and even like the spiritual aspect, you have to know yourself to get in tune with your spirit. And when you're moving out of the ego into the spiritual and you're helping everyone else, everything in this world is connected. I think I mentioned the moon controls the tides and the water. It affects that, and we're mostly water. And people want to say, "Oh, the planets don't affect me." No, it creates an energy.
Oh,
That's what it is. Astrology
we
is just
talk about
literally,
this shit.
literally just the alignment of the planets and where you are and the energy that was around when you was born and how the alignments now affect you. That energy can affect you. It's not a prediction. It's just telling you what energies are going around. Like right now, is Saturn still retrograde? I think Saturn's retrograde,
Yeah.
Pluto's retrograde, Uranus is retrograde, and Neptune is retrograde. And then Mercury got one coming up in soon. I think like October, November.
I told niggas if you felt like the eclipse season beat your ass, the universe finna leave you sitting there till after Thanksgiving because we got a lot of shit going on and it don't really a lot of those retrogrades don't stop until after Thanksgiving, like
It
around
takes, yeah. And they've
like
been going, well, Pluto gonna be in Aquarius to like 2044, so we just got to deal with that. We might have some wars like before, and then ooh, even with like Scorpio moving into Mars and for all our fixed signs, because I know my big three. I'm a Sun Aquarius, rising Scorpio, and a Moon Taurus. I'm stubborn as hell. And then I got a nerve to have three Taurus placements and then four Capricorn placements. And I'm just like, child, these people have stopped playing with me. And it's just literally the energy of Mars being in its home, one of its home signs of Scorpio. And it actually likes to be in Scorpio because Scorpio is that darkness. I mean, it also loves Aries too, but that's more on the lighthearted side. But that darkness and that death in Scorpio is right at home. That's why I've been going off on people and I ain't been feeling bad about it. So any of
mm,
y'all with these fixed placements, let them have it. Cause I was sitting here saying, man, I've been too soft. I've been letting motherfuckers off real easy.
I
But,
think
but oh, back to my connected point. Even like with the planets and the moon and the sun being connected to the earth, and you're here on Earth, so I don't know why everyone's trying to separate themselves. Like all of this shit
mm,
is connected. We're all connected. It's overlapping timelines. We are all connected in this fucking universe. And people don't want to know that or realize that or accept it. And it's like, if you just gonna keep fighting, no wonder you going through all of that. No wonder you
yeah,
stressing yourself out. You got to roll with the flow or know how to adapt. A lot of people don't know how to adapt. And that's funny that I say that being a fixed sign, but I got a lot of Capricorn in me. So like I can adapt really well to certain situations as well as be like super, super stubborn about certain things. But that's because my spirit and I feel convicted in my spirit. I'm like, no, no. And like it's hard as hell to peer pressure me. I ain't ever been peer pressured into anything.
right. I
And
don't peer
you
pressure.
can't, it's
I
hard to
tell
change my
myself shit before I let somebody peer pressure me for sure.
like, no, it can't. The thing is, I am so open to conversations and hearing everyone's opinion. That's the Aquarius in me. I'll listen to you and I hear everything out, and I love to get different perspectives. But then it's like, well, that shit don't make no sense still. Maybe that worked for you, but that ain't gonna work for me.
Could you because I know that we're having this conversation, but some of the people were that may be watching this in the future might not know as much as even I do about, and I feel like I don't know shit. I'm barely scratching the surface of getting knowledge. But they might not know what even I know about astrology, let alone what you know. Could you give a quick like example of what you mean when you're like my Scorpio or my Aries? Because I do know that most people think that they are just their sun sign. So when they look in the newspaper and they see, oh, the horoscope said
This
Aries and
is
I'm an
right.
Aries, this is it for me today. How could you give a like just a brief? How does that actually, in fact, go way deeper than that?
Okay, so You have all of the 12 signs in you. They're in the houses, and it depends on like the sun sign is just basically the day you were born. The I can't remember how the moon sign is calculated, but your rising sign has to do with the time of day, and it also has to do with location because we're talking about where all the planets were aligned when you were born. So your first house, which is the house of self, is your rising sign. That's going to be your outer appearance, how people view you and how they see you. Like I give off Scorpio vibes, even though I'm an Aquarius. But like
Mhm,
your sun
mhm.
sign is your heart, like your soul, who you really are on the inside. And then you have your moon sign, which is how you are emotionally. And then you have like your Venus, which is how you would be romantically in relationships and like your charm and things like that. Then you have Mars, which is powers you, strength, anger, how you how you push yourself when it comes to work and work ethics and things like that. Then you have like Neptune and Uranus. They more so deal with like dream and erratic things like that, and like more of
Mm.
us like your spiritual side, I believe, is like Neptune and things like that. Like mine is in Capricorn, so I've got a lot of things in Capricorn. I'm just like,
I
I guess
think
I'm
most
not
of the people in
serious.
our generation's Neptune is in Capricorn because it's such a long
Yeah, it's
transit
longer because those planets that have those really long orbits, like Pluto.
to take a long time. Yeah.
Like a lot of people, like I'm a millennial. A lot of people in millennial, like I'm like middle millennial too. I'm like in the middle. A lot of us are Scorpio rising. My Pluto is in the first house, so I'm all like Pluto is the planet of rebirth and
I
transformation.
got Scorpio Pluto too. Now I think about it. Yep.
Oh
That's my
yeah.
Scorpio placement. Yep.
So like Pluto is the planet of rebirth and transformation and stuff, and that's in my first house. So imagine having imagine having a retrograde and Pluto in your sign for 20 something years, and it's in your first house, and it's in my first house because that's where Pluto is in Scorpio. So I'm going to be doing a lot of rebirth and transformation, which has been my life. Like I'm leaving my marriage. I was with that man for 14 years and I'm only 36. So like, but then my fourth house, the house of family, that's where my sun sign is Aquarius. So my soul is like grounded in my family, like my roots and my lineage. So a lot of that's
Mm,
going on in that Pluto is going to affect my home life. And you know what's been going on? It has, and it's going to be like that for like years. So I mean, Pluto affects the entire generation because it's been doing that. So it's not like only a
right.
personal thing. It's
Its
a
effects
larger
will be
scale.
felt.
But yeah, like I was saying, all there's 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs. So depending on where a sign is and what house, that's how you respond to certain things. Like my Taurus moon, I have Taurus moon, Jupiter, and Mars, and they're all in my seventh house of relationships and partnerships. So I can have good luck from Jupiter. It's in Taurus, but then my moon is also in Taurus. So I things like luxury, comfort,
Hmm.
make me security, stability makes me feel very comfortable. Like I need that in relationships. Like I need that
Mm,
emotionally
yeah,
to feel
Taurus, they
comfortable.
like
And it's
all of
like
those things.
and then like I get mad like a Taurus, like I'm slow to anger, but when I get mad, I go off. So that's like that. I mean, Pisces is my fifth house of like romance, creativity, and childhood play and stuff like that. I'll break out an improv with my brother anytime. But that's the Pisces side of me. So it's like you literally have a little bit of every sign. So that's how people born on the same day could have totally different personalities. It's not just,
Hmm.
oh, I was born on this day and this what it is. In the day, they used to do those horoscopes in the paper were all based off rising signs. It wasn't even based off your sun sign. But like to get
Mm,
a total picture, you gotta have literally all you gotta know is your date of birth, where you were born, and the time you were born, and you can go put that in and get a full natal breakdown and natal chart, and you'll be like, damn, that is kind of similar. I see how that can work right there. I like to say I'm a walking contradiction. Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus.
I think most people would learn a lot about themselves if they analyze the birth chart. Because how could you not pay attention to something that is new to you today, but could tell you so much about yourself right now?
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to dispel the fact that there's a spiritual undercurrent to reality itself, you would have to acknowledge that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? To even try to be like, man, that shit ain't real. Like you gonna have to acknowledge it to be different from it. Otherwise, you validate it by just being what it is saying that you typically are. You know what I'm saying? Based off of the celestial canopy at the time. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I think
Mhm.
like how I was able to do my Virgo season predictions and predict so much of like what we did see during Virgo season. Like we saw mad people break up, we saw mad people crashing out. It was like, yo, it's a Virgo season with two eclipses in it. Like
Yep.
it's really chaotic energy. And so you're gonna have people that are dealing with a lot of things that they attempt to suppress, like and it being Saturn retrograde, so responsibility being a main focus on everybody's mind and heart. Like if you've been suppressing the fact that you ain't been meeting your responsibility no proper communication, dissolution of relationships, you know what I mean? And nigga, it was predicted. So it's like, damn, if that shit wasn't real, then why'd y'all break up, bro?
And that has to do
You know
with
what
where
I'm
it is in
saying?
your
Like,
house and what house it lands in too. Because my Saturn is in like typically in my third house of communication, siblings and stuff. And that's my Capricorn house. I have a stellium in that. It's Saturn, Uranus, Mercury, and Neptune. But because Saturn was retrograding in Aries, it was in my sixth house. And that is the house. You know what Aries is. What is the sixth house? I can't even think off the top of my head, but it had to do with like a lot with the work and work ethic. And Saturn has to not only do with like responsibilities, it's discipline, it's learning lessons, it's karmic lessons. It's Saturn is strict as fuck. That's why, like Aquarius, that's why they can be super strict or like super aloof, is because they're ruled by Uranus and Saturn. Saturn is a very strict karmic planet.
mm,
Like, that's why a lot of that stuff, like breakdowns of things, is probably happening, especially when something is retrograde. You got to look back at it.
right. Nah, you just said a mouthful there. I love this kind of like just breakdown. When I learn the houses, I'm gonna be a bad motherfucker when it come to reading charts. I'm telling you,
I
I
got
don't
to
I don't
respect the
know them
houses.
yet, so I need to learn them. Because I mean, obviously, I could go and look and read and see,
Mhm.
but I want to like how you just you were naming a house and you were naming what the house represents, and you were able to say, well, I have this placement in that house, which when you were saying these things and you're like, oh, and I got Taurus in this house or this in this house, I could instantly feel the resonance and the click and be like, it makes sense. Oh, I've dated all sorts of women. So when you say I got Taurus in this house, ooh, that is how Tauruses are
Mhm.
in relationships. They do like, you know what I'm saying? So when you're saying like, yo, I got this placement in that house, I'm like, ooh, that would be how they were if it were concerning this. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So like I love that aspect of it. I need to do some more study because I need to learn that shit like the back of my hand.
Yo, the app that
Probably
I
write a
keep
book.
telling you about, get that app because of the like that home screen. Like, that's the thing. I don't even read my horoscopes daily, which is crazy. I just read like the alignments and what the energy is and like the moon phases.
Ooh, I want to be able to do that.
You have to get it because the thing is you can do your birth chart and stuff and then it'll actually calculate it based off your birth chart. So when they have all these alignments, I think I sent a screenshot a while ago.
Mhm.
It'll say exactly how it'll affect you, and it'll be like, oh, these are the short-term effects of all these things going on, and these are long-term ones, are like, like the planets where they're sitting in a space for months and things like that. But it also breaks down and informs you about the different modalities, which is the fixed signs, mutable, cardinal. It breaks down the houses. It breaks down what the placements and the planets mean. Like, I learned a whole lot from like that one app. I'm
Just
not
playing
gonna
on
say
that
it
app,
because
man.
I ain't getting no promo for it.
Right. Nah,
But
that's
you know
dope.
which app I'm talking, like the one I always send you. I love, love, love that app down. Like, love it
Okay.
down. That's how I learned a lot of stuff. Like that there. And I'm like, dang, that makes it easier to understand what I'm reading.
Nah, I'm definitely gonna tap into that. Actually, I'm gonna go download that when I get right off of here. I'll say what's my time? Yeah, okay, cool. And look, this has been a great benefit with my blunt going. We did over an hour. Thank you for watching this. If you watch this, if you subscribe to the Patreon, if you relate, we related. This is my attempts to give what I feel like I have to contribute to the world. Because I know most of the people that have an affinity for me have an affinity for conversation, but I can't be in all places at all times. So I go long periods of time sometimes without seeing people that have a great affinity for me. And for them people, they have this. And the energy, it all connects. So thank you, God. I love you very much. I hope you have a great day. If y'all watching this, y'all have a great day too. If you relate, we related.
Whoop, whoop.